Okay, so welcome to the third part of the tutorial. So if you recall, we just escaped Ace. So now we're at the end of the Ace Bridge in our Batmobile. So what we need to do is get to GCPD. So if we look at our map, so we're right here, and GCPD is right here. Sorry, no, right here. Sorry, this is the warehouse. So this is the GCPD. So on the way, what we're going to do is we're going to go to the Clocktower, and there's a Predator there that we're going to do on the way to GCPD. Typically, casually, you do this Predator after you escort Gordon, or sort of while you're escorting Gordon after the tank fight, but you can also do it before, and it's a little bit faster to do it before because it's on the way. So we get in the car. Now, like I said before, driving is usually the fastest way
Alfred,
to get anywhere. But the problem with driving is that if we go into this area, there are going to be tanks around. So like there's a tank right in front of us. And if we try driving to the Clocktower, we're going to basically get bogged down by a bunch of tank battles. So what I like to do instead is get to the end of the here and then launch out. So then we go to the Clocktower, and then we're going to go to a Predator. So the Clocktower you can kind of see visually. How you do this Predator differs a little bit on easy versus hard. So right now I'm doing it on hard. I'll just show you what hard looks like. So first on hard you do a silent takedown. Then I do a fear takedown on these two guys. Then what happens is one of these guys is going to be available for an inverted takedown, so I do that. Then throw a smoke pellet here. Take this guy down here, maybe batarang that guy, and then ground take down both of these guys. So that's how I do that Predator on hard. I'll just show you kind of what it looks like to do Predators on easy. Because I don't think I've done a Predator on easy yet, but this is a good example of how things are completely different on easy versus hard. And on normal, I'd recommend doing the similar thing as hard. So let's go to easy. So let's do the same thing.
Militia forces, troop deployments, equipment,
launch out of here.
I want to know exactly what I'm up against.
I'll perform a full analysis of the occupying forces and report back shortly, sir.
So, I actually start out doing the same thing with a silent takedown. You don't have to, you can make this a loud takedown. The only reason I do a silent takedown is so that I can do this fear takedown on these two guys afterwards. Then what you can do on easy is just jump down and just punch these guys. So you just punch these guys, and you see bullets do like no damage to you, right? So you can get away with, you don't have to be careful in any way on easy. So, okay, so now what you can do is you can do either some kind of grapple cancel, if you can. Otherwise, you so grapple cancel to GCPD. Also, let me switch my difficulty back to hard. So when you're at GCPD, one thing that you want to do is call the Batmobile while you're on the ground and running into here. So that way, the Batmobile is going to basically be driving this way. So let's say that you don't do that. So let's say that you instead, let's say like you instead like call the Batmobile like here. It'll turn around. So by running into here, you prevent the Batmobile from turning around, and it's a little bit faster. It's a little bit of a micro optimization. It's kind of cool. So I like to exit the Batmobile. When you talk to Gordon, I have to talk to him on the right side of Joker, otherwise Joker walks into me. So do that. So now we have to escort Gordon to the clock tower.
Jim, I need you to stay focused.
We're going to be interrupted by 2 trucks, and these 2 trucks are difficult to do properly. We'll see if I do it correctly. If we don't, I'll just try it again. But you kind of take what you get. I'll just tell you kind of the approach of what I do in order to do this. So what I like to do is I like to aim for the guy that's in the back. And so I try to, okay, I messed up there. So what I try to do is you try to sideswipe. I'm gonna restart this. So what I generally try to do is I try to sideswipe the guy in the back. That takes him out immediately. Then.
Pursuing forces, this is Arkham Knight. Your priority is to apprehend.
Okay, this is a weird. See if I can. Oh, okay. Okay, so we'll escort Gordon again. Yeah, so I loaded the wrong
Jim,
save.
I need you to stay focused.
It's not a big deal.
It's dangerous out there. Drive slow and let me deal.
So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to sideswipe the car in the back.
Predicted this, Jim.
It's my job to predict.
Then I launch a missile at the car in the front, and then while it's recovering from that missile, I hit him head on with the car. So that's kind of how I try to do this.
Up ahead, we got company. Who are they? Pursuing forces, this is Arkham Knight. Your priority is to apprehend Commissioner Gordon. I say again,
Okay, so
your priority is to apprehend the Commissioner.
hit this
I
guy.
want him alive.
So I didn't quite do it correctly, but this is actually good enough. Ideally, you want to destroy those cars before the Arkham Knight finishes his dialogue. And I managed to do that, so I'm not gonna try it again. So now here, there's a dialogue skip that is allowed in Glitchless, but it's keyboard only.
Just get us there
It's
in
not
one
that
piece, Batman.
big of a dialogue
We're
skip,
running out
but,
of time.
it is there.
Sir, before you head to the clock tower, I thought you may like to hear the analysis of the Arkham Knight's forces you requested.
What have you got, Alfred?
So what you do is you move the thing down to Miagani Island here,
As you can
and
see,
push space, then move it to Founders Island, then when he starts
Founders
talking,
Island
press
is the middle.
space, then to go to the middle of Bleak Island,
The
and then
remaining
press
drones.
space. So that's the dialogue skip.
Thanks, Alfred. I'm heading there now.
Alright, so now you can kind of follow the arrows to get to the clock tower,
Yes, sir.
which is where we need to go next. There are going to be tanks there, we're going to have to fight them.
Switching to manual control.
So again,
Stop him, sir.
do alternate between the Vulcan gun and the regular gun
Rattler's been losing drones,
while
Sergeant.
it's charging.
Movement on that thing.
Okay, so now we charge this up. So then generally you want to... so generally with tank battles, you alternate between the Vulcan gun and the main gun until you charge up your weapons generator. And then when you charge up your weapons generator, you should use it when you actually have 4 tanks on your map. After that, we can go to here. You have to talk with Gordon a bit. and then we get to do this Barbara cutscene. So go here. I like to interact. I don't know if that does anything. Sometimes this, you can walk by Oracle and it doesn't trigger. I'm not sure exactly why that happens, but interacting seems to avoid that most of the time. So then after this, I like to stand about here.
Oh, don't pass out just yet. Come on, show a little spy.
So Joker taunts her, takes some pictures. He's gonna leave and close the door. So after he closes the door, what we'll want to do is we'll want to zoom into Barbara and then walk forward a bit. And then hopefully there's going to be some text on this wall that will spawn in. And ideally, so we wait till he closes it, then walk towards Barbara. Now the text spawns, so zoom into this text and then turn around, and now we see the clock tower and the text is gone.
Nothing like a trip down.
So now while Joker's talking, I like to stand about here at the basically close to this elevator, sort of on this side of the O.
Jim Gordon had been through enough.
You might be able to stand closer, but I don't know. But typically, what's going to happen is you're gonna have to interact with this wheelchair, and I have a better. I generally interact with it better when I'm standing a little bit farther back like this. So the wheelchair is going to spawn in a little bit after he says the night's still young. There's going to be some music. It's going to be close to when the music stops. So I like to just do this, and then so it's there. You pick up the wheelchair. So now what's going to happen is if you go here, you have to you aren't able to interact with this until Joker talks for a bit. So what you can do instead is if you restart from checkpoint immediately when you see the autosave, you can actually skip this entire dialogue. And it's a little bit faster, it saves a little bit of time. It replaces basically the dialogue with a load. So
I need to find out what happened to Barbara.
Investigate
they
the
covered
cameras.
their tracks by disabling the Clocktower security cameras.
So I use keyboard and mouse for this. I basically am already swiping my mouse to advance the footage. So you want to go to this second thing and this here. And so basically after they put Barbara in the car, then you scan it. You can do this pretty quickly on keyboard and mouse because
those tires are
you can advance the footage pretty quickly.
I can program the Batmobile to
So now I spam the grapple button because you're going to grapple out you're going to want to grapple out immediately. Now we're going to
How did Scarecrow know to go after your IT department? I mean, I had no idea.
Call the Batmobile. You want to do it on this side of the clock tower because this is where the tire tracks are. So just as kind of like if you're more visual. So what it is you come out of the door here. You'll be facing this direction. So you want to go to the right, and you want to see Founders Island over here. If you're going towards GCPD, you're going the wrong way. If you're going towards Panessa, you're going the wrong way. And if you're going towards Ace, you're going the wrong way. So you want to be going towards Founders, and then dive and call the Batmobile there. So we now we start scanning the tire tracks. So you can scan them and then drive on to the end. It's a little bit faster than just staying in tank mode.
Arkham City. Go through the files of every inmate who was released following the death of Hugo Strange. And Alfred. They knew about Barbara.
And then, if you're about here, what's going to happen is you don't need to actually go forward. It's going to trigger the cutscene. So, it's fine. Then you spam the eject button. Then you investigate this. So, now ideally you would have... So now we do this tank battle. It's pretty similar to all the other ones. So now we have our weapons generator, so use it.
Lost the Rattler. Drone feed offline. Get back. Rattler down. These machines are relentless. Unlike you, they don't give up. They don't hesitate, they don't hold back, and they are not afraid of you, Batman.
Okay, so after the tank fight, go back to where the tire tracks ended, and then blow up the bomb.
I can use the power winch to trigger a controlled explosion.
Then you can start scanning when the tire tracks start showing up again. So start scanning them and do what we were doing before. You're gonna scan them up until this Miagani bridge.
Alfred, the Arkham Knight's trail leads
there's
to
this
Miagani
cutscene.
Island. Lower the Mercy Bridge.
I can't, we're locked out.
The militia must have hardwired into the transport control system. Find me their access point.
Right. Tracing the network traffic, it seems to have all been rerouted to Grand Avenue Station.
So
Then
now we're
that's where they'll
gonna
be. I'll proceed
go
on
there.
foot
So
and take over
dive
their
3.5
access point.
seconds.
I'll
Then what I
contact
like
you
to
when
do is I
you're
like
able to lower the
to
Be careful,
grapple
sir.
here and then
Miagani
cancel.
Island is rife with militia drones.
You can also grapple here and cancel.
Batman can and will adapt. Stay alert. Watch the skies.
Clear this building, grapple here, and then cancel. So now we have this predator that's coming up, and again, the predators are going to be a little bit different on easy versus hard. So I'm going to show you how I do it on hard first, and then I'll redo it again on easy. So,
The station's
or I
crawling
might
with the
die.
Arkham Knight's
But,
militia.
so first what I
Clear them
start out with is the
Find
fear
access
takedown.
point.
Or what I start out with the fear takedown. Grapple up here. This guy is going to run past you, so do a silent takedown on him. The reason we do a silent takedown is to recharge our fear takedown. So now you'll be able to do a fear takedown from here, but so one thing you can do is so you do a fear takedown. There's a guy here, so you batarang him. And then you can see that there's a guy up there on the stairs, and there's the drone guy, or on the ladder, so now take him out. Then the guy's gonna abandon his drone if he's the only one left. So that's nice. And then just take him down. If there's one guy left, and you have full health, you don't really need to be that careful when taking him out. You get shot once or twice, but you'll still survive. So now I'm going to show you how to... You can do the Predator on easy in a much faster way. You can probably do a similar thing on hard, but I like the way that I do it on hard quite a bit. But I'll show you what I do on easy, just to show you the difference. So let's so you start out with the same thing. You start out with this fear takedown.
Crawling with the Arkham Knight. I need to clear them out and find the access point they're using to hack
So
into
then
the
there's this
transport
guy's going to
network.
climb up the ladder. You can use your bat claw to take him out. And then you have these three guys who are gonna... You can just punch them. Oh, I don't have health. Oh, I think I'm doing this on hard. Oh, I forgot to change difficulty. So let me, sorry about that. So that's why you don't do that on
Who's gonna fight crime now?
hard, because it's a little bit risky. Okay, so let's change it to easy. So
The station's crawling with the Arkham Knight.
take down.
Clear them out and find the access point they're using to hack
this
into the
guy.
transport network.
Do that. Then you're gonna beat these 3 guys up. And you kind of just need to punch. This guy. Yeah, so that's kind of the difference between easy and hard. Easy, you can kind of just punch people. Hard, you cannot, as you saw when I tried doing the same thing on hard. So.
Arkham Knight's men taken care of. I can use their uplink terminal to lower the bridges.
So we lower the bridges. So after this, what's going to happen is we're going to have to get to Riddler. There's some. So Riddler is by the orphanage. There are some thugs outside of it that we typically have to fight, but it is possible to skip that fight.
I should know.
So I'm going to try skipping that fight
Alfred.
to see if I can. It's very difficult. So
Riddle me this.
Riddle me this. You run forward. The camera's a little weird, but it'll fix itself once you run off the edge and dive. So now we go through this intersection. We go towards this the botanical gardens here, this station here. Orphanage is back here, where the marker is.
You didn't expect this, did you?
So
That is because you are no match for me.
I haven't found a consistent way of doing this, but you can go to this door and skip the fight outside, like I just did there. So fortunately I got it immediately, which is not common.
It is utterly impossible. You cannot do it. I have won already. I will mock your attempts
So you
to
can
solve
rescue
my conundrum.
Catwoman.
Keep still.
So skipping that fight outside saves a lot of time on hard. It also saves a bit of time on easy. So for this fight, I start off with Batclaw to get myself close to them.
Tired of my dependence upon the least useless dread
on hard, I like to
scrape
counter
from
a bit
Gotham's
more.
utterly uninspired underbelly. Why rely on
Yeah,
others for
so
help when you can design, program, engineer, and manufacture it yourself?
So don't worry too much about doing this fight quickly, because you have to listen to the second bit of Riddler dialogue. On easy, you'll
enjoy it while it lasts, Dark Knight.
you'll finish this fight before that second bit of dialogue starts. And so now what we want to do is we want to scan Catwoman's collar right when he says, no doubt you enjoyed that. So now that he said that, we scan it. And so the way that this game works is that if you interrupt Riddler's dialogue with another Riddler dialogue, then that previous Riddler dialogue gets cancelled. So now you can see that he stopped talking
I'll come back
and that this
Stay
gate
here.
is open.
I'm wearing a bomb, Batman.
So the way that so basically if you scan the collar while Riddler is talking, then it'll basically cancel his dialogue. If you scan the collar too early, I'll just show you what happens if you scan the dialogue too early, and I'll show you on easy because it's much easier to scan it too early on easy. Okay, so
True artificial intelligences, of course. But then you two aren't true intelligences either. What a pair you make. Together, you're just competent enough to survive.
So what's going to happen is I'm
Enjoy
going
it
to
while it
scan.
lasts, Dark Knight.
I'll start scanning the collar too early. So now what happens is this dialogue starts, and the second Riddler dialogue pauses. So you kind of have to wait for, and this dialogue is global. It you can't get rid of this dialogue at all, where he's telling you that he's setting up a bunch of riddles. So don't scan the collar too early, otherwise this happens. Fortunately, you can actually skip this piece of dialogue. What you do is you go to to the riddles and select any unsolved riddle. Riddler will read that, and that cancels the dialogue as well. So that's kind of a backup if you scan it too early.
I'm wearing a
So that's kind of how the Riddler dialogue stuff works. So I'm gonna switch back to hard just because I
Don't
like
keep
it.
me waiting.
Sir, I've regained control.
Good work.
So here, this is you have. So when you're so now we're gonna go back to the Mercy Bridge. And this is one of the few times where you actually have to select the objective in order for it to
I'm
work
heading to Mercy
properly.
Bridge to pick up the trail of the Arkham Knight's vehicle.
So now we go back to the Mercy Bridge. Normally you don't have to select the marker in order to trigger the next objective, but in this case you actually do. So it's good to just do it like while you're gliding or while you're exiting the orphanage. You can do a more direct path to this, but I like this path because there are a lot of grapple points that you can cancel off of. And overall, it's a little bit faster to take this slightly roundabout path. Okay, so now we have the objective selected. So if you recall from this game, there's some tanks over here that you typically fight after you lower the bridge. But you don't have to fight them. So what you do is you can go here,
Alfred,
and then what I like to do is when Alfred says militia presence ahead,
Warn you, there's a significant militia presence ahead.
accelerate, escape,
I managed to
then
access the files
grapple
Escort
here,
was working
grapple
on
off of
before
that,
abduction.
then head towards
It would seem
this
she had weakness
this
in the
heavenly
drone
sign.
A direct hit from the Vulcan gun on their sensor
So
range
what we're
destroyed
doing
them with a
is
single shot.
we're ignoring the tank battle, but if we stray a little too far from the bridge, it won't lower. And if it doesn't lower, then we have to actually go back and do it. So by waiting for Alfred's dialogue, and by sort of flying so that you're not too far away from the bridge, you'll lower the bridge and you'll spawn this car. So now you want to say car's empty. Sometimes he doesn't say it immediately. You have to just run through the area a couple more times. So first you scan the door.
The car veered off an empty road. Why? Looks like the driver wasn't wearing his seatbelt.
So now we scan the
I should find
driver.
the
So
body.
to get to the driver, you kind of just run. You can't line launch anywhere. Usually line launching is actually faster than running, but we can't line launch, so you just go here and scan him.
Traces of pepper spray on the right side of the
So
driver's
then,
face.
while he's
Oracle
talking,
must
you
have
can
been in the
actually run
passenger seat
back
and deliberately caused the crash.
and scan
I should
the
check the area
car
where she
again.
was sitting.
So that's just a little time save. And it's faster to switch out
The
of
door was
detective
torn off
vision
during the crash.
to run.
If I can find where it came to rest,
So now we go to the door,
I can
which is
determine
right
exactly
here.
what happened.
And you'll learn where these clues are as you do more
Torn
runs.
cleanly off the hinges. The door must have been opened before the crash. Oracle got out. I need to
So
examine
now we
the
have to scan
reconstruction.
Oracle's landing
Pinpoint where
location.
she
So
landed.
what I do actually, so Oracle's location is right here, and you can actually scan it from like pretty far back. But I actually like to get to about here, which is actually pretty close. The reason why is because at some point after this, we're going to have to scan
free
a
of the
bullet
vehicle
hole,
before the
and that
crash.
bullet hole you actually have to be you have to be closer to in order to actually scan it. So by running a little bit further, you can scan both Oracle and you can scan the bullet hole from the same standing location.
Oracle stopped
So yeah,
here.
this is the bullet hole.
Someone
So
took
you
a
can
shot
scan
at
that.
that. I should analyze the point of impact for ballistic evidence. The caliber of the weapon is a match for the Arkham Knight's sidearm. The trajectory and impact velocity points to a shooter that matches his height. At this range, he couldn't have missed. A warning shot.
So this last thing, you can hold the right mouse button to or whatever the rewind button is, right at any point. And then you have plenty of time to
I've missed something.
walk over to this last
Oracle knew
clue.
she couldn't escape,
You have to rewind,
but she caused this
unfortunately,
crash
which
for a
takes
reason.
about like
She
10
must have
seconds or
left a
so.
clue while crawling away.
So then it's gonna scan now. And that's the crime scene. So I think this is probably a good time to end this part. Yeah, thanks for watching. Basically, all that happens now is that there's some Lucius dialogue that we can skip, and I'll show you what to do after this.